Welcome to BPTV. I'm your host, Andy Amrine, and this is one of our Around Town shows. And today we're going to be at the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company. We are very fortunate in Bethel Park to have one of the most amazing volunteer fire companies there are around here. So let's meet some of the members, let's see some of their equipment, let's hear some of the stories, and let's see how fortunate I am as a resident of Bethel Park and you are as a resident of Bethel Park to have the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company. All right, how about introducing yourself?
My name is Dave Gerber. I'm the chief of the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company.
Okay, and Dave, tell me, who is the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company? That's like a simple question, but I know that's probably a pretty hard question. They've been here a long time, but who is the fire company?
Well, the fire company has been here since 1927 and is made up of 100% volunteers. It's being a volunteer, you're doctors, lawyers, mechanics, landscapers, you name it, we have it all. And being 100% volunteer, we're your neighbors, people that live right next door to you.
Do most of the volunteer firefighters actually live in Bethel?
Yeah, it's a requirement to join that you need to live in Bethel. Once you are here, or for 2 years, you can move out of town, but you just got to maintain your points and number of calls and stuff a year.
But now currently, I know you have, 70-some members?
Yes, we do. We have right at 70 members is where we're at right now.
What's the age, what's the realm of age of our firefighters here?
We have 45 active members responding right now, and they range anywhere from 18 years old all the way up to, we got guys that are getting ready to retire. They're in their 60s and stuff.
And when they get a call for a fire, some of them are leaving home, some of them are leaving work, some of them are leaving their children's birthday parties.
Exactly, and that's unfortunately the downfall of being a volunteer, but it is going to help your community, and it makes everybody, gives you a good feeling knowing that you're able to help.
So what else can you tell us about the fire company?
The fire company was established in 1927. We respond to all kind of calls, everything from fire suppression calls, hazmat incidents, weather-related incidents, electrical incidents, pretty much anything that the police can't handle, we're going to.
They call you guys for the backup.
That's what we're going to, yeah.
And that takes a lot of training to get each of those members capable of making those calls. Do you have specialized members who do certain things where others can't?
We do. Well, when you join the fire department, everybody starts off with a 200-hour basic class. Once you finish the 200 hours, all the fire academies will send you to locally. You can take whatever classes you deem necessary. We have some guys that have specialized. They belong to the technical rescue team for the South Hills area. We have guys on the county hazmat team, more specialized units that go along with that.
So training never stops?
Training never stops. We, like I said, we give you the basic 200 hours. We start you with that. You go every Monday night. We have a training night. You get 2 or 3 hours of training, and like I said, during the weekends, you can go to the fire academies. We'll pay for you if there's any cost to the class, and send you off to whatever you're interested in taking. Like I said, some people have an interest in fire suppression. Other people have knowledge in hazmat stuff and the chemicals and all that. Other people are more into high-angle rescue and the technical rescue stuff. So we'll send you to whatever you're interested in. We can use the help. So,
okay. How long does it take for someone to, say, drive a truck or go up on top of Tower 19? That has to be extra training in itself, too.
Yeah, driving anytime you join, depending on what your background is. We have some people that are truck drivers, bus drivers, things like that. We can get you going. Driving isn't so much hard. It's the time and experience getting you to be a pump operator and all. But if you're interested and want to do it, we're here to train you and get you up and moving with it. So
Well, we appreciate your time, and Any part of who we are did we miss?
No, not that I can
No?
think of off the top of my head.
Hey, how many years have you been a fireman?
I have been a fireman 24 years at this point. I'll
Okay.
have 25 next year, and I've been a member here at Bethel Park for 17.
How old were you when you started?
23, I think.
And what made you join?
I actually wanted to be a police officer,
Okay.
and I thought this would look good on a resume, and I joined actually down in library. Was there for 7 years. I got divorced and moved back here into Bethel, where I was born and raised, and have been here ever since.
You enjoy being the chief?
It has its moments, yeah.
Has it?
No, I do. I enjoy it very much. Just like everything else, you know, there's days that there's headaches and stuff,
Sure.
but it keeps me very busy, and I'm very fortunate I have a loving wife that supports me with
Join
that.
this 2020 year of COVID-19. Is it extra difficult on you and your members, the department as a whole?
It has been. We're just trying to keep everybody safe. Our big concerns back in March were trying to keep exposure down to everybody so that if somebody would happen to get it, that we didn't give it to the entire department
the
and we had
department.
problems. We've done that so far. We have had a couple members that have been sick with it, but luckily we've made it through without any major outbreaks or anything like that. So,
Well, we appreciate your time and look
Thank
forward
you
to
very
seeing
much.
the rest of the station here.
alrighty, thank you.
All right, Dave, we have some of our amazing members of the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire
Yes.
Department here. You know, tell me what you're feeling.
Well, tonight's a Monday night drill night. I'm extremely proud of all these folks. Whenever we have a call incident, no matter how big or small, you know, these are the folks that are going to be out to help the residents of Bethel Park, and I couldn't be prouder of the group we have and how hard they work and train. Out of the group that's here, I have another group that's over at Mount Lebanon tonight also.
Already training.
That are, at a class over there. So,
So
I-
Monday night, you're probably looking at 25, 30, 35 members.
yeah, exactly.
Every Monday night,
Every Monday night.
dedicate their time to
Correct.
us, to the community for training, to keep
Absolutely.
them sharp.
Yeah. And these are the folks, as I said, that are coming out. If you have a problem, no matter how big or small, these are the folks that are going to come take care of your problem and do what we can to mitigate it.
I'm pretty lucky, pretty proud of them.
We are, yes. It's,
Thank you. All right, Russ, how about we start with an introduction? How about giving your name and title?
Sure. My name is Russ Beeson. I am the first captain here at the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company.
Okay, and Russ, you know some of the history of the fire department. I mean, this is a pretty prestigious volunteer, 100% volunteer fire company. So, can you fill us in on the
Absolutely.
actual history of the department?
Absolutely. So the fire department became incorporated July 27th in 1927. Back then there was roughly 5,900 people in what was called Bethel Township. And it hadn't even been incorporated to Bethel Park yet. So the fire department was established July 27th, 1927. They had 11 members and they had one vehicle.
Okay,
And it was a not fully equipped Model T.
okay, but it had an engine.
It did have an engine.
Okay.
It did have an engine. The first recorded firehouse was actually built in 1930 at the corner of Mesta and what would be the West Library.
Oh, okay.
That was the first fire station. 1933, it moved from there across the street to the Sleepy family plot. In 1940, the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company bought lot number 29 on Brightwood Road, which is where we stand today. In 1940, the firemen, the 11 firemen, picked the station
Still
up.
just 11 firemen.
At the time, it was 11. They picked the station up, put it on steel pipes, and rolled the fire station to where we stand today.
Wow.
Now, this is the third fire station that's been
Okay.
here. This obviously was built in 2016. It went through many changes over the
Sure.
years. It went from a 2-bay to a large 2-bay, so it would fit 4 pieces of apparatus. But Bethel Park only had 3 fire trucks in 1940. So once they incorporated and became Bethel Park, of course, Bethel Township Fire Department no longer existed. They moved to Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company. I witnessed 2 other fire stations here be built in Bethel Park. Milford Fire Station opened in 1972. It was an old gas station and was secured by the membership so that they could increase their response time to the north end of town.
Okay.
That was in 1972, 1976. They added Station 3, which is on Clifton Road, to enhance the response time to the south end of town. You figure now we cover roughly 11.7, 11.9 square miles from 3 different stations.
A few more residents too, also from 1927.
Absolutely. You figure in 1927 you had 2 mines in operation. You had Coverdale and you had Molnar, Mine 3. And then the rest of it was all farming land. So as that all started to grow, the city started to grow, people started to push south. Now we're figuring we're at 32,000, as an occupancy. So yeah, I'd say it jumped just a little bit.
And I understand quite a few calls, 600 calls on average a year.
Absolutely, yeah. We, for being an all-volunteer force, to respond to that number of calls, it's something we haven't seen before.
No, we're pretty lucky to have the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company. How about you personally? When did you join?
Well, ironically,
Probably with your dad when you were 2 years old. But,
well, ironically, there's a picture of a fire truck here somewhere.
Okay.
Engine 15. It was delivered and put into service August 30th, 1972. So that truck and I shared a birthday. The day I was born, my dad said, "Hun, you did great. I'm going to go put the truck in service." Came back, got me, brought
That
me
would
home
be
from
your
the fire
dad.
hall. So I grew up in this fire company.
right.
I left in 1994, was in the military, ended up staying down in Austin, Texas for a while. I came back in 2014 and have been here since.
Nice.
So
Well, thank you for your service on it.
My pleasure.
Anything else history-wise that you think our viewers would like to know about?
if you look at the overall cost of how the fire department operates, being 100% volunteer, we rely heavily on our fund drives. We always ask the residents, throughout the year with our fund drive letters to help us sustain the things that we do.
Right.
That money goes to valuable equipment, goes to the training that our guys receive. And they have one of the best equipped, one of the best trained fire companies in this area.
But once again, as a resident, I'm very fortunate to be in Bethel Park and to have a company like the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company to support us.
Yes, sir.
So thank you.
You got it.
All right, Russ, you're going to do a little demonstration for us, but tell me a little bit about what we're looking at here.
All right, so one of the things that we teach every year at our open house is fire extinguisher safety. Make sure that residents know how to properly operate a fire extinguisher, and some safety tips on if you have to use it, things that you need to be aware of.
Okay, like what?
Well, first off, the acronym PASS. P-A-S-S. Pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So you're going to pull the pin from the fire extinguisher.
Okay,
You're going to aim at the base of the fire.
okay,
You're going to squeeze the trigger, and you're going to sweep side to side across the fire.
okay.
Once the fire goes out, slowly back away. One thing you never want to do is turn your back to a fire because it'll come back and get you.
Very good. So looking forward to seeing it. Just another thought. I grew up on King's School. There was this big siren, just not even a quarter mile from my house
Yeah.
that I would hear it go off. Now this was I was born in 1960,
Yep.
so this was in the 60s and 70s.
Yep.
Are those sirens still in use?
No, they stopped using those right around 2010.
Okay,
That siren was the only thing that would alert the firemen that there was a fire back in the early days. Late 60s, early 70s, they came out with a home monitor,
okay,
which is a giant green box that when the police department would dispatch us, would trigger the reeds and wake you in your sleep to let you know, hey, there's a fire. That is then transferred from the home monitors to a pager that everybody wears on their hip.
okay.
We've gone through 4 or 5 generations of those now to where when there's a fire call, our cellular phones will tell us that we have a call, and it gives us a lot more information. They tell us where it is, how to get there, what we're looking at, provides us a map to show us where the fire hydrants are and everything. So technology
And
has
that
really
goes
come a long
through
way.
the dispatch for the police department?
It does, yeah. It's all through the Bethel Park Police Dispatch Center.
Nice. Things change.
Yes, it does.
Okay, back to the fire.
All right, so here in a minute, I'm going to go ahead and have the fire actually turned on and brought up to an area that we can actually go ahead and put it up. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
All right, so we're going to use a standard ABC fire extinguisher that everybody should have at least one
What's
of
an
these.
ABC other
So-
than the alphabet?
ABC stands for Class A, B, and C fires. So
Okay.
you have your wood and paper, your grease, and your electrical fires.
Okay, so if someone needs a fire extinguisher at home, that's the type that you want?
And ABC is the most versatile of them all, correct?
Okay.
So we're going to actually go through this. We're going to pull the pin. We're going to aim at the base of the fire. We're going to squeeze the trigger, and we're going to sweep side to side. We're going to put the fire out. After we put the fire out, we're going to slowly walk backwards to a safe area so we can then get out of the house. What we ask the residents, if you are going to use a fire extinguisher, use one. If it doesn't work, back out.
Okay.
Wait for us to get there and stay out.
Okay.
Inside to side. I'm going to slowly start to back up. You can see it relit. That's why we slowly back away from the fire. Always face the fire and back away. You saw how after we put it out, started to back up, it came right back and lit again. If that happens, you won't know it. You won't
Yeah.
be able to see it.
You don't want it to engulf you from the back.
Absolutely. So always back away from the fire, get to a hallway, and exit the building.
Nice. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Andy.
Okay, why don't you start to introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, my name's Steve McGuff. I'm the president of the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company, and
Okay, and Steve, tell me, we wanted to chat a little bit about the need. Why is there a need in the fire department? What are the needs of the fire department?
well, the two main needs that we have are volunteers, of course, and also we have some financial needs as well. We'll start off with the financial needs.
Sure.
I know it's pretty well known in the municipality that we do have about a third of a mil levy that was added through a referendum several years ago.
Okay.
And we've been very fortunate to have that support from the municipality.
So that did help.
Absolutely.
Okay.
People don't realize necessarily exactly what that goes towards.
Yes.
So in that arrangement that we set up, we as an organization handed over our land and buildings to the municipality in exchange for support from them to, obviously our beautiful Station 1 here on Brightwood Road, but also Milford Station and Clifton Station.
Okay.
They will, essentially the way you can look at it is anything, if you turn the station upside down, anything that falls out, we're responsible for purchasing, maintaining, and keeping up to date, and everything else that stays put is covered by the
Well,
municipality.
that's a big part that falls out of that building, though. So
Absolutely.
there's still a lot of need for the fire department to raise funds. And what are some of the things? I mean, I know we're standing in front of uniforms. What does it cost to outfit a firefighter?
Well, to fully gear a firefighter to go into a dangerous environment with an air pack, mask, all this gear, it's about $13,500 when you put it all together.
$13,000?
$13,000, that's
Okay,
right.
and
So
you don't expect a 16-year-old new fireman to pay that, right?
not at all. Not at
Okay.
all.
All right.
And in addition, obviously, people get to see the apparatus that we operate with. They're very specialized. We have multiple pieces of equipment here at Brightwood, and I'm sure Chief will go over some of those specifically. But for instance, the most recently purchased vehicle we have is the rescue pumper, which has the
Okay.
ability to support people whenever they're in need of any kind of rescue, whether it's car accident, unstable structures, things like this. But it also has the ability to pump water. Fully equipped, ready to hit the road, $950,000.
That's just amazing. And the fire department itself, you guys have to raise that money 100%. So the municipality is helping you with the building, the lighting, the plumbing, stuff like that. But that has to still be beneficial.
I can't overstate enough what a big deal that makes, and
Okay.
that'll tie us right into our connection with volunteerism. We went to over 600 calls last year, whether we're talking about structure fire or somebody's battery ran out.
more
in a
than
smoke
2 a
detector.
day.
More than 2 a day, absolutely. Well, nearly, right?
Really. Okay,
But
little math.
We're just running some numbers. But in any event, the fact is, we're not hustling, doing fish fries just to keep the lights on or to patch a hole in
Right.
the roof. And every minute that somebody volunteers is a minute that we would rather have helping somebody out rather than just trying to spin our wheels and keep our head above water. So it's been a huge relationship, and as a result, our volunteerism, we're not struggling to maintain or gain new members the way that many local departments
Okay.
are.
So you're how many members do you have now?
We have about 70 members total that are active. That includes life
a nice,
members.
healthy number.
It is a nice, healthy number.
But when
Well,
you say life members, those are ones who don't still go out on calls?
well, they are permitted to still go on calls. However, they have 25 years of service in, and then they don't have to meet the same points requirements to maintain their level of membership with us.
So what does the education take to become a fireman?
Well, that's something that's pretty shocking nowadays. there's 180 hours of basic training in 4 different modules to get somebody to the point where they're permitted to enter into an environment that's unsafe to them.
Okay.
We also have
And that costs money to train them, doesn't it?
absolutely.
Okay.
All this training does cost money. Now, in addition to that, we have a requirement that all of our firefighters meet a threshold and they receive a Firefighter 1 certification, which includes a practical exam and a written exam. So their skills are tested under pressure, under time, and working with teams of guys that aren't necessarily guys from Bethel Park. They'll have to work with fellow firefighters. I shouldn't say guys because we do have female members as well.
Correct.
But we have firefighters from all over that they'll have to learn to work as a team and accomplish
And where
tasks.
is this school?
Well, most of our guys will go to Allegheny County Fire Academy up in North Park.
Okay.
We're kind of centrally located at 3 different locations. We also have a Washington County Fire Academy that people go to, and there's one in Westmoreland County, which if you're fighting rush hour traffic going north, it's quicker to go over I-70. Sometimes it's off the Smithton exit off of I-70 there. So
Okay. If somebody wants to become a firefighter, is there an age?
our minimum age is 18 years old. We
Okay.
don't have a junior program. But yeah, we have several members that are in their teens that have joined up, and they're incredibly valuable. They're very energetic, and they have time, and they're sharing their time and effort with us.
So you do have a purpose for someone under 18. It's just they can't go to fire school until they're 18.
No, unfortunately, we don't have a junior program at all.
Okay.
That is something we've looked at starting in the past, but there are multiple barriers to getting that rolling.
Okay.
So.
Well, what are some of the other misconceptions, let's say, about a resident donating to the fire company?
Well, first of all, I want to say the municipality, the members of the residents of the municipality have been incredibly generous over the years. We've tried to be good stewards of that money. We do have investments that we've been able to maintain, and we are able to operate with some interest off of these investments. We're not carrying massive amounts of money, but we're safe in a way that we're not going to
Close
run
the
out of
doors next
right,
week.
Exactly. So we've been good stewards of that money, but every penny that comes in, we make smart decisions. We have some real sticklers counting pennies, and of course it's an important role. And we're grateful to the residents for their support of us over the years, and whether it's the direct donation or through fundraising that we've done. We just had a fundraiser here this past weekend where we had some food trucks in. And,
I know, it was good. Thank you.
Good. Glad you enjoyed it.
Questions, concerns, can people just email the fire department, or is numbers they could call and so forth? And
Absolutely.
okay,
If you want to reach,
you encourage residents to be in touch?
Absolutely. I think a good place to start is if you're interested, stop down the fire station any Monday, 7 o'clock. We have our drill every Monday night. And if you want to just get an idea of what's going on, meet some of the people, stop by. We'd love to see you. You can also reach out to us, send a message through Facebook. You can send us an email. Just check out our website, BethelParkVolunteerFireCompany.com, VFC.com.
That's simple enough to do.
Simple enough, right?
So how much is a helmet?
Oh, you know what? Hey, Rusty.
Okay.
No,
That's all right. They're
no, it's-
expensive.
They are, right?
They're more than my hard hats down the store,
Yes,
right?
yes, sir,
Okay.
yeah.
So, well, and it's all part of why we need to help support the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company. Appreciate your time. Anything I missed? Or
One thing I did want to touch on, some
Okay.
people aren't aware of, there's Allegheny County Community College has a fire vest program, it's called, and they will offer full scholarship for an associate's degree to anybody that commits to 5 years as a volunteer firefighter in the community, or in the county of Allegheny, so Allegheny County. So
didn't you have some of your firefighters taking advantage
we
of it?
have had several that have taken advantage of it. We have one current firefighter who's still in the process of going through schooling on that scholarship, so it's
That's huge. It's a big help.
absolutely
So it's all part of the program. Appreciate your time.
no problem. Thank you.
Mark, how about introducing yourself?
My name is Mark Breyer. I'm one of the newest probationary volunteer firemen here with Bethel Park. I've been here a little over a year.
Okay, well, welcome to Bethel Park.
Thank you.
You
Thank
like it so far?
It's a great place, great organization, and there's great people to be here with.
Do you have prior experience in the fire department?
Yes, I do. I originated from Mount Lebanon. I was a volunteer for 10 plus years. As a volunteer, I moved to Jefferson Hills after that, and I was lieutenant and second assistant chief for 2 years. So I do have some background in the
Sure.
firefighting.
Well, welcome to Bethel.
Thank you.
So, I mean, let's talk a little bit about home safety. And there's more to a resident of Bethel Park being safe not just pushing that button to test a smoke alarm all the time. What are some of the things that people maybe don't think about?
Some of the things now, Andy, we're getting into the colder season, so a lot more people want to sit down and put a fire in their fireplace and kick their feet up after a long day of work and kind of relax. What they don't know is that there is some hidden background behind that if you don't properly clean or inspect your fireplace, you can have fire that breaks out between the walls, and lo and behold, you have to call us.
That sounds pretty dangerous. Do they even know that I'm assuming we're talking chimney fires, do they even know that their chimney's on fire before they see the walls start crumbling down?
No, they actually don't. 45% of all fires over the wintertime are generated from improper, maintained fireplaces, whether it's wood burning or gas.
Okay, so what are the suggestions from the fire department?
Suggestions from the fire department, if it's a wood burning one, if it's been, if you live in your home for 10 years, you always want to check it, at least once a year. If it's a newer home, you just moved in, you want to check it probably halfway through the heating season to make sure that, it's breaking in properly. If the flue line or going up into the chimney is improperly sealed, you'll catch that ahead of time. Always want to keep the firebox clean. Your debris collects underneath the bottom of it, and you always want to, no more than 1/8 of an inch of debris that you want to clean. Any debris you want to clean off, you always make sure it's cold.
Is there something that the average homeowner should be looking up the chimney with a flashlight? Is there anything they could really
Yes.
see, or something they could be looking at?
After they clean the deposits from the bottom, you always want to deposit them on a cold aluminum can.
Okay.
Never want to put them in a combustible, can because they will catch fire. They want to look up into the flue chamber. You're always going to see, some creosote buildup. Any creosote with a flashlight that's shiny should always be cleaned by a certified chimney sweeper.
Okay, so it's really, you look up the chimney, if you get reflections or shininess off the side of the chimney, that's the creosote
Correct.
buildup.
The creosote will get almost like an acidic, and the acidic will actually burn off and will create a fire. It's more or less going to create the fire up in the chimney because it's pulling air from your room, so you won't know until you have a lot of bank of smoke coming back down, which at that point, if there's hairline cracks, which is usually thicker than a credit card, those can chase into the walls of your house and go into the inner structure of your walls.
So how often do you recommend someone hire a chimney cleaning company?
At least once a year
Once
is
a
always
year?
recommended, if not every other year. But from the National Chimney Sweep, they always at least once a year, but they always want you to at least clean it, every month to get all the debris in the bottom out.
Okay, so the creosote building up in the chimney, that's the enemy.
That's the enemy.
What they're trying to do.
Yeah, and it's not only that too, Andy. If you not let's say you're not an avid weekend person that uses your chimney, and you don't use it for a month or two, you could have animals that build up in there. They've seen raccoons, they've seen possums, they've seen birds. So if you don't check that, when you do light that, you might have an animal up there, you might have a nest, which could be even worse.
That'd be pretty scary. You peek up the chimney and you see two eyes staring back
It
at you.
has happened. Yes, it has.
Wow.
Yeah. And one way to prevent that is always have a rain cap on top.
Okay.
Rain caps can always prevent, critters coming in, and heavy winds and rain will actually deteriorate the mortar on top as well, which also can create a problem down the road.
Okay. Well, another thing I was just thinking that maybe you could address or not, we're still in hurricane season this time of year, October Fire Safety Month, we're approaching and so forth. Is there anything that the average homeowner should be thinking in their mind as far as safety on their part?
When it comes to the chimneys?
No, it's come to driving around,
Driving
and
around,
flooding
okay.
and things like that.
We have had flooding around here. The Southwest area has a lot of low-lying roads that intersect. One of the big things is flooding. We've seen in the past couple of years there's a lot of flooding here. The National Weather Service actually has a campaign that's actually Don't Drown, Turn Around. And it tries to get people more aware of the dangers of when you drive through that. I mean, 6 inches of water can come up to your door in a matter of seconds. And 6 inches can create a problem very fast. If you don't, 6 inches is
May not sound a lot.
it may
but
not.
can
Yes,
float a car,
you can
can't
lose
it?
your footing on 6 inches of water in under a second.
No.
It'll take a foot of water to get your car floating, and rushing of over 2 foot of water, your car's sweeping down the street.
So turn around, don't drown.
Turn around, don't drown. One of the things you want to do is, if you are in your car and you're stranded, first thing to do is remain calm and always call 831-2000. That's the number. What you always want to do is make sure your windows are rolled up. Don't panic. If you have to get out of the car, make sure you have enough time to get the window down. You never want to open the car door up. If you open the car door up, it's going to create a lot more water coming back in your car. Roll the window down and allow enough time to roll the window down and exit without the water getting to your door level. That way there, if you have to get on your roof or you have to wait for safety, you're at least ahead of the water flow.
Okay. Any other helpful hints you have for us today?
No, that'll be it.
Okay. Appreciate you taking the
Thank
time.
you,
and
and
thank you for the service to our community.
Thank
We
you very
appreciate
much.
it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Mark, how about introducing yourself?
My name is Bob Brown. I'm the Deputy Fire Chief here at Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company.
Okay. And how long have you been with Bethel Park?
I've been with Bethel Park for 32 years.
Wow, it's a long time. Now, you
It is.
started early, or you were
Actually, I started when I was 30 years old, so a
Okay.
little bit later in life.
okay? So you don't have to be 18 to join the fire
No,
department.
you don't.
It could be any age.
You can be any age.
So, well, what made you join?
I had some relatives that were in the fire service, had piqued my interest, and I
Mm-hmm.
just, as a kid and in my teens, I had interest in it. Didn't join or couldn't join. I wasn't old enough, and I went off to college.
Mm-hmm.
Got married, moved to Bethel. I waited 5 years after I lived in Bethel to join.
Okay.
But finally
what
did
your
it.
family think when you joined? Supportive?
My wife was very supportive,
Okay.
very much so. And then
Still
I've
to this
had
day?
still to this day,
Okay.
still to this day. I have two daughters that are now 30 and 28, so they grew up. My oldest daughter was not born yet, so
Wow.
they enjoyed it immensely.
So you've seen a lot of change in the fire department?
We have, yes, or I have. As far just from apparatus to gear to fire safety, fire prevention, it's evolved. It keeps changing all the time, and you have to adapt to change, or it'll pass you by.
Right. And over those 30 plus years now that you've been with it, still heartwarming for you that what
Absol-
you do in response from our community?
Yes, unfortunately, we see people typically on the worst day of their life
All
a
right.
lot of times, and it is fulfilling that if you're able to help them, or at least try to make them feel better and try to convince them. Eventually, it may take a long time.
Right.
It'll work out. It'll be okay.
But when you're coming across people on their worst days of their life, and I'm thinking in somebody's home or office and so forth. Now, there's a lot of talk about smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors and how long they last and changing batteries. And I push the button, it still works.
Sure.
Can you enlighten us a little bit? October is Fire Safety Month, so
Yes,
we're going to be showing this a lot in October. But what can our residents of Bethel Park take from your 30 plus years of knowledge with home safety?
As far as it's proven, smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors do save lives.
Right.
No question. There should be a smoke detector on every level of your home,
Okay.
and if possible, in all sleeping areas.
Okay.
As far as the CO detectors, I recommend, and I think most people will, or in the fire service, you want to place it somewhere where you easily hear it when you're sleeping.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be placed near the garage or near a furnace. You can place it in your hallway outside your bedroom, and then all the family members can hear it.
Right.
A couple other things that go along with that. One thing you want to remember, if that smoke detector goes off and there is a fire, you need to get out.
Okay.
If you think possibly you can put the fire out safely, you could try, but we recommend just get out.
Okay.
Once you're outside, you need to draw up a designating meeting place.
Okay.
So you want to know all your family members are
Like
out.
a mailbox, a tree, a
I'm just going to
neighbor's
say,
front yard, something.
when my kids were growing up, our meeting place was at the mailbox.
Okay.
Very important thing. Once you're outside, especially for younger folks, and it goes to anybody, don't go back in. Don't
Okay.
go back in to rescue a pet or save another family member. Leave
Okay.
that up to the fire department.
You
We'll
have
do
the
our
equipment?
best. We have the equipment. We'll do everything we can to get the pet or an individual out. And the last thing you want to remember, once you get out, you want to call the fire department.
Right.
So in Bethel Park, the easiest way to get a hold of us, the fire department, is to dial 412-833-2000. If you can't remember that or you're in a panic mode, 911 will certainly work.
They both work on
Yes.
it. So how long does the smoke alarm last?
Smoke alarms typically will last 7 to 10 years.
Okay.
As you said, if you push the button and it beeps, probably working.
Yeah. But what if it's over 10 years and you push the button and it still beeps?
I would recommend you change it out. You can keep that one if you wish, but you want to get a new one
Okay.
for certain. Another thing to remember, if the smoke detector does have the batteries you need to change out, when you set your clocks ahead in the spring and back in the fall, change them those times.
Right. Yeah, the $2 battery's a lot cheaper than a house.
Yes, it is.
So-
Or life, for that
Yeah.
matter.
How about carbon monoxide detectors?
Same thing on the CO detectors. They're typically a 7 to 10 year lifespan. A lot of those are plug-in type with a battery backup. So the same thing, you want to change your battery backup. Because if you don't, it's probably going to let you know that the battery has gone dead on you. And the reason for that is if you have a power failure, that CO detector will still work.
Does the fire department still get a lot of, not missed calls, but false alarms?
We do, but a lot of times, and that's not a problem. We always tell folks, we would much rather
That's my
come.
next question. Does it bother you?
Does not. And I tell homeowners, we tell business owners, I would much rather come see you in this situation than coming here with your house or a business on fire.
Right.
So if you forgot to change the batteries, a lot of times it's the CO detector that the folks have had for literally 10 years.
Right.
And if we look at the date, when it reaches the 10-year point, it's going off.
done,
It's
right?
done, and it's going to alert, and they just need to change it out.
What are some of the other things people should have at home? Are you a fan of fire extinguishers in the house?
Absolutely a fan of fire extinguisher, especially in the kitchen area and also the garage area where there may be some combustibles. Some people might keep their gasoline in their garage and maybe not out in the shed. Or another place, if you store your lawnmower and other items in the shed, might want to keep the fire extinguisher in a shed also.
The average life of a fire extinguisher?
That's a good question. I knew you were going to ask me that, and
Yeah.
I am not sure.
Don't they
I
have
wanna-
a dial on
They
them,
do
though,
have
to
a
tell you?
dial
So-
that'll tell you if it's charged or discharged.
So as long as it's still in
As
the
long
green,
as
green
it's
is
still in the
good?
green, it should be good.
Okay.
Should be good.
How about any other things for the home? Are you a fan of fire ladders and
Yeah, if you-
two-story,
two-story
three-story house?
residence. I remember when I would teach fire prevention to the younger kids, I would ask them, how many kids know what to do to get out of there if they're on the second floor of their home. Do they have an escape ladder? They're not that expensive, and again, just like a smoke detector, it might save a life. A lot of times, we'll tell the kids, especially if your house is on fire and you can't get out and you don't have an escape ladder and you're on the second floor, go to your window, start waving, hollering, yelling. We'll see you. We'll come get you.
Right. Do you teach kids at schools and so forth still dropping down
Yes,
and escaping out of the house?
Absolutely. If you're again, unfortunately, if your home is on fire, we always, it's the thing. You should sleep with your bedroom door closed at night. That
Okay.
way, if another portion of the home catches on fire, that door closed can buy you a lot of time as far as the smoke getting in there and or the fire.
Okay.
So if you realize now my house is filling with smoke and I'm going to try to get out, you want to stay low to the ground. The smoke's going to rise. The good air is down low, bad air is up high. Make your way out if you got to go down the stairs or however you want to do, outside to your meeting place.
Okay. Any other safety tips or anything you want to share with our residents?
Again, just, it's so important. We do unfortunately I won't say a lot, but there are residents that don't have smoke detectors. I mean, we will try, we as the fire department, we will try to get you one. If you don't have one, we'll come see Andy. He's
Get you all you need.
absolutely, and he's done that forever for us, and so we do get that. But it's so important to have a smoke detector and a CO detector. Unfortunately, we had a
It seems
terrible-
silly that we're still preaching
We
this
are.
after 30, 40.
30-some years, and the horrible
preaching.
incident we had years and years ago that led to the big push for CO detectors.
Right.
Which I know for a fact have saved lives since then.
Yep. Well, I appreciate your service to Bethel Park. I know our residents do. Thank you very, very much for all you do and the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company does.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching BPTV, and this was an amazing story about our Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company, and they need your help, so make sure you are donating to the fire company today. They need it. We need them. Thank you very much. This was Andy Amrine, BPTV, and I'll see you around town soon.